and welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and today I'll be making a penny slider card, and I'll just be upfront with you, I struggled a lot on this card. Penny sliders normally are very easy interactive cards to create. I was just trying to go for something that ultimately just I couldn't get it to work exactly how I saw it in my head. And so I did have to kind of fix things along the way and troubleshoot along the way. And I left most of the troubleshooting in this video just so that you can sort of see what I was going for, and you know, if you have some hints and tricks for me to be more successful next time, definitely let me know. But what I'm starting off with is this cloudy panel. This is USA 2 size, so 4¼ by 5½. The stencil I used was one that I created myself. I just designed it in Photoshop and used my Cricut to cut it out from some Mylar. And I started with a penny, but you'll see in a little bit that I increased the value of this card tenfold by upgrading my penny to a dime. And the reason for that is because I didn't gauge the thickness of the penny, including the little bit of cardstock that I cut away from this panel. So I chose a foam that you can see right then. I'm like comparing the thickness of foam to my penny in order to choose what foam to put on the back here. And I found one that worked, except for the fact that when I go to attach this to my panel, I reinserted that rectangle, which is the path that the penny will travel. I put that back on my card base, so that's going to sit below the penny and add some extra thickness because this panel is 120-pound cover weight heavy cardstock. And so I didn't account for that extra thickness, and that's why I had to actually change out the penny for a dime later, because dimes are a little bit less thick. So all I'm doing here, we're looking at the back of the card, and all I'm doing is putting foam basically to cover most, if not all, of the panel here, at least, you know, far enough away so that it doesn't obstruct the path of the penny as it travels down this this rectangle that I've cut out. And the rectangle actually came from the large die of the month. You see it on the left there are all of the sets that I'm using. So that large die of the month, that was the one with the bunnies and the fun interactive sort of mechanism. So you can use one of those dies to create your track here. It has an extra little pinprick hole at the top, which you can maybe see, and I'll cover that up. You can see me doing that now, sort of with the cloud. And so you know, if you don't, I don't have any other sort of penny slider dies from Spellbinders. They may have them. I just don't own it. But anything that cuts you a track like this will work for a slider. So I'm going to glue my panel down to my card front, and I am going to dot on some liquid adhesive so that this is a nice permanent stick. And I didn't mention it explicitly when I did it, but that rectangle that I cut out from the card panel, I did glue that down first. I just put it right in through that slot and glued that back down so that you still get the full, here's where I swap out to a dime, so you still get the full cloudy background instead of seeing straight through to the card base. Now, error number 2, what I was going for with this was I wanted my balloon to travel on this penny. So that's what's going to travel along this path. And I didn't want, normally on a penny slider, if you use a round foam dot on the top there, it's going to rotate 360 degrees as well as travel down that path. And I didn't want that because I wanted my balloon to have a little string attached and I wanted it to just float straight up. So that's why I used a rectangular foam piece of foam on the top, because with that piece of foam being rectangular, it can't rotate in that slot. It can only travel up and down. That didn't actually ultimately end up working out well for me. So I don't think I caught it on camera, but I swapped that out ultimately for a round foam dot. And so when you see the final card close up, you'll see that it rotates 360 degrees. The other thing that I mistake, sort of, or just not really a mistake, it's just I couldn't get it conceptually to work the way I wanted, was the string. I couldn't get it to reliably collapse back down behind these clouds that I'm attaching onto the my card base right now. There's plenty of room for it to collapse in there because I've left a lot of space, and these clouds are popped up on some pretty thick foam. I mean, this isn't my low profile foam. It's I think 3, maybe even 4 millimeters thicker than my normal foam. Because I did know I wanted to leave plenty of room for that string to kind of collapse back behind the clouds, so that it looks initially, when the balloon is at the bottom, it looks like it's just part of this grouping of balloons, which I'll add in a moment here. And so that didn't ultimately work out well either. And again, I don't know if I don't think I left it on camera, but I ultimately snipped off the string because I couldn't get it to work, and it was inhibiting the movement of the balloon as well. So I tried to do a lot with this penny slider to make it a little bit different, a little bit sort of specialized, I guess, or just a little bit more realistic to how a balloon would move. But I just couldn't get it to work, and maybe it'll be something that I try again, because I can be kind of stubborn about these things. But I think the card is still pretty cute in the end. Now, the other thing that I think I sort of speculated out loud when I crafted earlier with this die set was whether these balloons are the same as the birthday add-on from the Sunday Drive collection, and they are not identical. However, they're pretty darn close, and in fact, these balloons are a little bit larger than the Sunday Drive ones. And so the letters that you can die cut into the balloons from the Sunday Drive add-on set, they will fit inside this balloon as well. So you can sort of interchange, and in fact I did on this card, just because I didn't know how many balloons I would need, and so I was using the balloons from both sets to die cut as efficiently as I could all of these different balloons in different colors. Now the top two balloons here that are really close to my mechanism, I did attach those with some 3D glue gel so that it not only adds a little bit of dimension to the balloons, but also it's a little bit, it's giving more clearance for the string of the gold balloon to kind of collapse back down into that grouping there. And that was the whole idea, was the idea being that, you're this gold balloon, and that's where I snipped off the string. You're the gold balloon, and I'm going to add my sentiment to read soar high. And kind of, it's an encouragement card meant to kind of encourage somebody to sort of break free from the group, rise high, reach further, and all of that good stuff. So that was conceptually what I was going for, and I wanted the movement of the balloon to be a little bit more true to life with, the string and having it float upward without rotating. But that didn't exactly work to plan, but the card is still pretty cute, I think. And it works a lot better. It's not the smoothest penny slider I've ever created, because I had to just fiddle with it so much. But I do want to mention I added a second layer of the gold balloon, because as I was kind of pushing it onto the foil, you could actually see some of the denting, I guess, or of the foil. Or the foam, you can see the shape of it a little. So I just added another layer of gold on top of that, another die cut, just to smooth that out. So once I started playing with this more, it started to work a lot better, but I think it's still cute. Not 100% how I envisioned it, but I'm still happy with it. I hope that you enjoyed it too, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you'd like to catch new videos as I post them, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing the notification bell. Thanks so much. Until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye.